Back, I'm Gertie Rude. Back again, that Monday mood. Well, here I am, it's Monday and I'm in a mood, a very hot mood. It's about 34 registering outside. And yeah, it's blooming hot. So there we are. And if you can hear my fan, I'm sorry if I don't have it on, I'll expire. Anyway, this caught my eye earlier. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could plan King Charles III's funeral. I mean, really? I don't know have they taken some edibles? What do you reckon, darlings? Somebody's taken something, or somebody's been smoking something, because when's this a thing? When did the whole of the world come up with this? Prince, we need to plan a funeral for, like, the king or something or other. So, I think we should ask Prince Harry and the megalite. Well, come on, this isn't real. This has got to be clickbait. Let's go back and find out what's happening. Come on, Alex, tell your old Auntie Gert, because I'm combobulated.
Back on the bridle, but you've taken off your silks and you've put on your tiara today, because we're not talking horse racing. We're going to be talking everything going on in the palace, and particularly, not so much in the palace, those two characters over in California.
Oh, no, not them.
Because, I mean, I kind of understand where Harry's coming from as this, but he's desperate to make sure his kids retain HRH titles. They are technically in line to the throne. I have a feeling, though, that if Prince William were to become king anytime soon, he might not be as sympathetic to that.
Hopefully not.
Well, I'm actually not sure why they've got the HRH title, because they're still born into the royal family.
Yes.
They're living in America. You just have to take a look at the example of the Princess Royal. She married Captain Mark Phillips, but she refused to take a title, which she could have done, and he could have been given a title.
Well, no, because historically she married a commoner, so I suppose she could, like with Margaret, she was of the blood royal, and the Queen elevated Tony Snowdon. Didn't they? I can't remember his surname now. I did know it, but it's gone. Anyway, so everybody called him Lord Snowdon, Tony Snowdon, didn't they? And he was a great photographer. And then you've got Patrick Lord Lichfield, who was descended from the Queen Mum's side of the family. Very interesting bloodline, that. So, but they haven't got HRHs. Now, let's have a quick whiz round. Beatrice and Eugenie, are they HRH, the Princess Beatrice? Or are they just Princess Beatrice? Somebody illuminate me, because I haven't got a clue. My brain is fried. And also the, children? What are they called now? The Edinburghs. They were the Wessexes, darlings. Were they the Wessexes? Oh, I don't know. I'm lost. Anyway, whatever they were, they're not anymore. They're the Edinburghs. Yes, was it James and the daughter, Louise? Are they HRH? Oh, does it matter? For God's sake. All these titles this and titles that. For God's sake, no one blimmin' cares. Rabid Marxists that all want everybody to be bleeding equal, except they need to be a little bit more equal than everybody else, as good old George Orwell pointed out. So that's always been the thing. So here we go. But I'm worried about this headliner, the tagline, Prince Harry and Meghan could plan King Charles III's funeral. I mean, I'm here for this. I'd like this to be, all out on the table. Let's have a peruse. Let's have a little gander.
The children could have been given an HRH, but she did not.
No.
Whereas you look at Prince Andrew, he has his children. He marries,
yes.
For want of a better word, a commoner, Sarah Ferguson.
Well, she was a lady.
And yet he, again, has deemed them to HRH. The Duke of Edinburgh, his children don't have a title. So actually you wonder why is he bothering to keep the HRH bit?
Yes.
Because he is living in America, where last time I checked they don't believe in titles.
No, that's right.
So it all smacks of sort of slight hypocrisy, that he wants to break away from the royal family and be his own man, yet he's almost saying, my children going to an American school have got to be bestowed this HRH, which puts them out of place and sort of unnecessary spotlight on them. So I sort of don't understand.
I think it's all a bit outdated. I think apart from the actual people, the hardcore people, like as I say, the core of the royal family, why do all the rest of them need HR this and HR that? Need HR bloody patches, that old thing in California. That's what she needs. I'll tell you where she needs to stick them. Across that great big bleeding gob of hers. That's what she should do with her HR bleeding patches. Bleeding madam. Who'd she think she is, coming out and saying that she and Harry are going to bloody plan the king's funeral? Or did she say it? Or did somebody else said she said it, but she probably didn't say it? Or is somebody else saying it? Or is somebody else saying that she said it, but she hasn't really said it? Hey? We're not going to tell, are we? So let's crack on.
And why he's so insistent on that when he doesn't want to be part of the royal family.
Yabbing on.
Well, it's commercial, isn't it? I mean, for both of them, the connections to the royal family is the only thing that makes them vague.
I know that's what makes it relevant. But you know, like I keep saying, when they left, he did say in that bye-bye speech, "Just call me Harry," because that's what she sold him. We go to America, we're all going to be equal. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be splendid. It's going to be like something you've never known. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, Donald Trump is not going to be president, and I am going to be the first female president of America, Harry, and you're going to make it happen for me. Well, your money. So that was probably what was behind it. But no sooner did they get to America. Oh, hello, Babs. Oh, she's like a kickboxing champion, that old thing. As soon as I start going on, Bush goes to the doors, straight through the doors, doesn't care. Sorry, Babs, yeah, I'm sorry, it's the Mark Clit again. So, yeah, just call me Barry. Or Harry, wasn't it? Going to be commoners. All going to be equal. Under guard. So it's like I did a skit back in about 21. It might have been early 22. Or it was early 22 because it was when they did the New Year's honours list and made everybody a sir or a madam or a dame that carried out that lockdown crack, which I won't talk about, but you know what I mean. And funnily enough, they all got ennobled, darlings, all of them, especially a spiteful little communist lady. They used to call her Stalin's granny. She was one of the head people of the I don't know what they called them. The people that were in charge of the lockdown. Were they COVID czars or whatever? Yes! Made her a dame. She looks like a bloody pantomime dame anyway, so there you go. So she's a dame, and I was wondering when I was going to be made a dame, or a lady indeed. Probably not a lady, or princess, or a HRH. I think we should all stand by. I think we should all watch out for the postman. Because I think there might be a very good chance if you live in the UK, anytime soon, we're all going to be ennobled. So we can all be equal, you see? See? That's the way it works. So, and we're still back to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle plan King Charles's funeral. Well, I don't like to say on YouTube what I think of that and whose funeral it should be, but why are they planning the King's funeral? It's nothing to do with them, apart from the fact that he's the dad. Allegedly. Mind you, he is. To be honest, I looked into it, he definitely is. It says that. Right. Not that I was there. I mean, you know, I don't know whether Charles was there. He might have been. It's hard to tell, innit? Maybe he's a surrogate. You don't know, do you? They get up to the shenanigans. No, he is. He is Charles.
Really interesting. Otherwise, they're a pet.
He is the weaker, watery side of Charles that we don't see. It's all covered up. The same side that was friends with BBC DJs, Bonsi priests, vicars, whatever. Let them live on their property, even though they've been in prison for bonsing. Yeah, he's got a highly educated, highly overly sensitive side, and we all see his little tantrumy side, didn't we? That was a bit unfortunate. And yeah, I think he's inherited that, whereas William has got the stoic side of him, because obviously he's got a stoic side as well. Bred into them, isn't it, darlings? And also, I think because the Queen had quite a big influence on William's upbringing, as well as probably a lot of other top, equally influential people. And also, I think Kate grounds William, because he was a bit of an old ratbag. He used to be a little bit of a hissy fitter, didn't he? He did, but I think that just came with probably his age and the self-consciousness that any teenager or young man has. So, but as he's got older, he's grown into it, and they laugh together and love together, and I've heard they argue, and that's healthy as well, you see. So they keep each other on the straight and narrow, Kate and William. Prince Harry and Meghan, well, that's just a shoot show in slow-mo, isn't it?
They're sort of relatively talentless numbskulls with very little original content to offer the world.
Right.
Well, that's a pretty harsh description, but there may be an element of truth there, Alex. But the fact of the matter is, he is still by birth, and, you know, there's talk, you know, when the king dies, you know, that he will be at heart and centre of the funeral, which is quite right.
Well, I don't know about that. We don't know about that, because, I mean, talk about blimmin' counting chickens before they's even hatched. Can you imagine being Charles and listening to this or hearing this and thinking, oi, they're planning a bloody funeral, I'm not even bleeding gone yet, eh? It's like they're trying to get him out the door. Because that won't augur well for the, what are they called, Sussexes, is it? I mean, it's not going to benefit them at all when Charles goes. Probably less. Yes, I can see that going. Because this is another thing what everybody said, and it is true. Officially, she's Princess Henry. isn't she, of Sussex? Officially, obviously she's Duchess Meghan because that's a courtesy title that was gifted to the Queen by the Queen to them. But her actual official title, because she married him, it's like Princess Michaela Kent. Her name's not Michael. It's like Lady Colin Campbell. Her name's not Colin. You know, when you marry somebody with a title, your official title becomes Lord or Lady of them. Yeah, and then you've got your own name under that. I think it's Geordie Zadie, isn't it, with what's her name? Lady C. Princess Michael Kent, is it Marie Christina something or other. Her dad had an unfortunate position in the echelons during the Second World War in Germany. So should we say that? Not say that. Let's not. Do you know what I mean? Let's pretend we don't know that. It'd be awkward, wouldn't it? And so there's that to it. So if they were told they couldn't be Sussexes, she'd be lording it all over the place. But she wouldn't worry about calling herself Henry. She'd just call herself Princess Meghan. I bet you anything. I bet you pound to a penny. In fact, I'm surprised she hasn't just dropped the Sussex business already. Duchess, and just gone straight to the Princess Meghan. I think now and again she does try, but people pull her back down. But anyway, why are they we're not any the wiser.
Because he is still, the king is the father to Prince Harry, but the whole thing is just sort of, again, with Meghan now launching her rosé this week, God knows what the markup on that was and where she actually, I don't imagine she was actually testing the provenance of the grapes and everything, but she's there's a lot going on in their lives, but they need to commercialise absolute everything now to give themselves relevance, and the only way they have to do that is to cash in on the fact that
his hair keeps changing colour, doesn't he, that lads? See, I've had a child with red hair, and they pretty much don't change colour. He was born with red hair. It wasn't like carrot coloured hair, it was more marmalade. Seville marmalade. Yeah, and it never really changed colour. It was lovely, beautiful hair he had. Really thick as well. Big brown eyes, whereas people with red hair usually have blue eyes, but he didn't. Have big, like chestnuts they were. Big warm brown eyes and beautiful hair. So, but this lad changes colour. So, should we pretend we ain't noticed? Let's be polite.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and he is the son of the King of the United Kingdom, and that is where I think
he comes across more natural when you see them, even though you see them this sort of sinister way, and that's my word. Other people could choose another word, but he does seem more sort of hands-on and down with it and child-centred than when you see the Marklet, because the Marklet always seems so bloody awkward. Like, they barely know her, Well, I am being a bitch. We don't know, do we? We don't.
People slightly lose patience with them. So,
yes,
if William does want to get rid of the HRH, I don't think it's going to cause too much consternation amongst most people in this country.
No one cares.
We're playing some video at the moment, Rupert, of it looks to me like home video from the Sussexes, enjoying days out with the family. Yes. Again, doing the normal Meghan Markle thing of advertising how much better.
Days out with the family. They ain't even got off their driveway yet, Alex. That's their property, what they're in. They're not days out with the family, air quotes. That's just around about their gaff, love. That's how they roll, rich people. They can walk miles and miles and miles and miles, and they're still in their property. It's the way it goes.
Her life is than ours. She's got the perfect husband, the perfect weather, the perfect furniture, the perfect children, the perfect produce, the perfect garden, the perfect beehive, the perfect hair.
Well, she hasn't got any of that, darling. We all know Tibetan bleeding foothills was the hair. The beehive, probably she just pinched it for somebody else or leased it for the day. Produce, well, they weren't hers anyway. Jam was just syrup. Someone tell me that I do love Gordon Ramsay. He tried it and he said it tasted like what was it, cough syrup or mouthwash? Can you believe? Oh my god. Actually, it's probably being kind, probably tastes worse than that. That TikTok reviewer said it didn't taste of anything. Not enough fruit and no sugar. It's kind of watery. But she doesn't make it. It's made in Illinois, apparently, on the production line. So there's that. So she hasn't got anything perfect. It's just she's tripping out. And she has a little hissy fit when the whole world refuses to trip out with her. Like if we sit here going, no, that's not jam. Or, yeah, but you talk about a good thing about the climate and then get on your bleeding private jet. Shut up. See, they don't like it. They don't like any critique back or even an answer back or anybody to sort of quizzically review them and think, hey, that don't make sense. Do you get me? People like that don't.
You know, is it really that good behind the scenes when you have to live with a dopehead like him? I don't know. But it seems to me that they've sort of given up on this whole idea. If we want our privacy...
because they're their property, they've got their own beach and all, haven't they? Over to the right of it or left of it. Well, the pictures I've seen, it looks like you just carry on walking across their estate. And you've got the two banyan trees, you know, that's joined at the bottom, rather unedifyingly, and they sort of think it's a symbol of them too. I mean, make of that what you will, guys. So over there, and further, if you go walk past them and carry on walking, you get to their own private beach, you see, darlings, which is in the Pacific. Yes, it looks a bit rugged.
We want to make sure our children are protected,
right?
Because now they seem to be full steam ahead on behind the scenes like they're a reality family, like the Kardashians, and potentially commercializing these kids. Maybe that's why they want the HRH.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. They're trying to give themselves, you know, she always, you know, her podcasts that she's done, trying to create this heavenly situation.
Right.
Well, it's probably quite easy to look as everything is perfect if you're living...
Oh, let's not talk about them podcasts. I don't know what she's doing on them podcasts apart from making an idiot of herself. They're the most anodyne, asinine, bleeding load of old hooey that nobody... I mean, you just, like, if you can't sleep, put one of them on. Honestly, you'll be in a coma. So awful.
No. Hugely expensive villa in Montecito, one of the richest suburbs, you know, towns to live in California.
Right.
It is quite easy to look everything in the garden is rosy in the Sussex's family. But, you know, don't tell me she's out there gardening and getting her hands dirty and, you know, and picking the vegetables. No, it's all smoke and mirrors with her. Harry is rudderless. Yes, I know he's nipped into New York recently to appear and give some more, what it appears, if I see the clip right, and, you know, I assume it is right, a sort of monologue of word salad.
I know, you know, I heard about that.
They are in a very difficult position at the moment. They will obviously believe that they can make money out of their title.
Why didn't they just go away and live this private life? Because none of this would have happened. None of us would be having these conversations. They wouldn't be, you know, having their own news slots on every media outlet every single day, 7 days a week, you know, 12 months of the year, 365 days, you can get Meghan Markle's latest news. Harry and Meghan, what have they done? They have become a headliner on every streaming news outlet. So, and MSM and social media and lots of creators, their bespoke channels that are just for Meghan. Just ridiculous. They went there to have a private life. Why don't they just do that? If they'd invested his money properly, say invested it in property, but at the moment what they're doing on these vanity projects, they're just leaking it, and you don't get it back once you've spent it on vanity projects. I mean, I know she had this stupid idea of foundation, but if you want to make money when you've got money, you have to speculate to accumulate, don't you? So what you would do, what anyone with a couple of bleeding brain cells would have done, is buy up a load of property, and then you're happy you can live off the earnings of that, and then buy more property, and, you know, you still got the interest, and at the end of the day, you still got bricks and mortar. Whereas the way she's living now, when she's doing this, flitting from this to this to this to this, and we all know Archwell is an abject failure. I mean, I think she's more or less wound it up. And this With Love Meghan, that's sort of pretty much wound up as well before it even got started. And then we had the Orchard, didn't we? The Riviera nonsense the other year. All this takes money, and it's not like money that you're going to earn back. And there's no way she's earned all the money back from her stupid latest vanity project with the so-called jam that isn't jam. It's just ludicrous. It's, to me, that middle-age, well, she's advanced middle-age, but a pair of advanced middle-age or middle-age spoilt teenagers with arrested development, about the combined emotional age of 15, the pair of them. And that they've both been sort of, well, spoilt and cosseted. Sorry about that, it's a loud motorbike for some reason. Spoilt and cosseted and taken care of all their lives, and get to their 40s and think they're going to have what most teenagers have when they're about 12 or 13 or 14, their rebellion, and take their trust funds and go and show the world just how brilliant they are. To me, that's what's happened, and it's providing a lot of revenue for everybody else apart from them.
Sometimes, you know, isn't the adage, sometimes all publicity is good publicity?
Well, it's not.
They haven't had, but it keeps them, the notoriety is still there.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's overexposed notoriety, though.
What will happen, I think, the royal family, the king wants to see his children. Why not? any family would like that. But he's made it impossible, has Harry, for the rest of the family to trust him. And that's the really sad thing about the whole thing. It's all...
Yeah, but I mean, no, because that's waffle as well, darling, because if, as you say, the king, underline, wants to see his grandchildren, underline, that could be arranged between the king and his grandchildren. It wouldn't necessitate the wider people or peripheral people to have any sort of entree into that scenario. Excuse the motorbike. Yeah, it's gone. To have any need or necessity to be involved in that, if that was true. So he was just desperate to see his grandchildren. I'm sure that would have been arranged, because after all, he's the king. It would have been arranged. His people would have arranged with their people being her, probably laid down a few laws, and said this is what's going to happen. The king is seeing his grandchildren, and that is the end of it. And the very fact it hasn't happened is kind of questionable and open to debate as to why not.
Yet he seems to think he is the complete and utter victim in all this. There are two sides to every coin, of course there are. But he has played the victim to an absolute nth degree, and I think people have victim fatigue when it comes to Harry.
I get the impression as well.
It's lovely when you're languid and sort of multi-millionaires that you can afford to espouse Marx, isn't it? Sort of, we're all going to be equal, this, that and the other. Well, they take all the good bits, don't they, where, it's their feelings, it's my truth, not your truth, it's my truth, my version, all this bullshit, I've got to be safe space, I'm triggered now, you've hurt me feels, it's all that nonsense, isn't it? And it's kind of, it's luxuriating in their victimhood, as well as having a luxurious lifestyle. And then when you walk around most places in Britain, you see a lot of British people that are disenfranchised from society, living in doorways. So, and I don't think they care if Marx or Mrs. Thatcher don't care. It's the same outcome. And there's no safety net for them, and no one cares if they haven't got a safe space. And they're definitely not equal. So, all these middle classes and upper classes espousing Marx are just hypocrites. And I think probably covert narcissists or histrionics, just... they'd hide behind anything to better themselves and to make their already luxury life even more luxurious. And it will be at the expense of everybody else. Hence, the widespread homelessness, people at food banks and the poverty. And we're going to hell in a handcart.
Sort of saying earlier that, hopefully we'll keep our king for many years more. But they do seem to be sort of nurturing now William as the future king. His look has changed somewhat. I'm really appreciating that beard and being on horseback, leading, trooping of the colour.
Yes.
We don't know that many details about the king's health. We understand he's got cancer. We don't understand the diagnosis or prognosis. But one knows that there's only a limited amount of time he'll be able to serve us as our king. And I get the impression that when William becomes king, he is going to be absolutely rigid on how he treats the Sussexes. I think they'll be frozen out completely.
Hope so.
I think, the king...
I think they should just make them sign a contract, give them a couple of million and sign a contract to go away and live their private life and stop. It's causing such a lot of trouble and division in society. Megxit this and Megxit that, and then all the sugars and boozy and this and that and the other. And somebody said this and somebody said that. It's causing too much trouble, but I think that might be the whole raison d'etre of the construct that has become the Sussexes. That's my opinion. Am I entitled to it? Yes.
Prince William has probably, what has happened in the last year with the diagnosis of cancer diagnosis for his father, also for his wife as well. He's certainly had his mind concentrated on his situation, and I think that means he's done a lot of soul searching and thinking about how he wants to be.
Well, there's nothing like having kids to sort of mature people and ground you, is it? And they keep you grounded as well. To them, he's not the next potential king or the Prince of Wales. He's just daddy, and you see that very much in his Father's Day pickies. Did you see that? Because she takes the photographs, doesn't she? The Princess of Wales. Yeah, she's good at it, I think she is.
The monarch and how he wants to rule when he is king, what he brings to the table. So I think it's been a sort of growing up lesson by, because obviously he realised his dad was in the 70s when he ascended to the throne. So, we all know that, you're in, how long? No one knows. No. So for the king, obviously set back with the cancer, but he's still looking as if he wants to do as much as possible, as we saw, even, Royal Ascot, you name it. He's out and about, and he wants to still be proactive. Right. They're talking, they always have funeral plans. Operation London Bridge is always something. Obviously, they've done it recently, and they sort of will have said, what went wrong, what went right, what do we need to do?
Nothing went wrong, it was fantastic funeral.
Possibility of 80th birthday celebrations for the king, which again will have to be planned. Will he feature in that? We've got the Invictus Games taking part in this country in 2027, which Harry would be expected to attend. The interesting thing is, will the Duchess of Sussex attend? Like not. She's gone.
Yeah, but you see, they're not answering the question. Why does that mean that they're going to plan his funeral? Or are they just planning it from their point of view? And how do we know that? It's difficult, isn't it?
She was in Canada.
Come on, hurry up, please.
Germany.
I'm bored now.
But in this one at the NEC in 2027 will be interesting to see whether she wants to be centre stage.
Oh, so she will.
Might give an indication that things are forward if she is allowed.
Yeah, she will. She'll be there. Don't give her a mic. Whatever you do, she'll be leading it. She'll be leading the cortege. In fact, she'll probably bung the coffin out and she'll lie there. Yeah, she's the bride at every wedding, bleeding corpse at every funeral. That whole thing, isn't she? She won't have him getting all the attention. Hey, of course she'll be there. Especially if she's got a hand in anything to do with it. Even if she gets a snout in and says, well, I'll arrange the flowers. Like you do, families doing the funeral. That sort of. I always found that it was always just left to me, but there you go. Just don't say anything, just do it anyway.
Not allowed to come if she comes.
Right, let's go.
That'll be an interesting dynamic in a couple of years' time when I think it's about 2 years now, that they staged the Invictus Games at the NEC, where it's going to be big. I know people are planning it already. There will be a huge number of service personnel from all around the world taking part. Okay. So it will be a big occasion. And obviously the king might, given his role within the British military, again, will see an important place to be. But will he be with his son? Not. This is going to be, a lot of the build-up will be around that. And hopefully by then, some of the sort of heat might be diffused, and there may be a rapprochement between the families, and they can. But it's a long way. This road is a long one at the moment for them to get back to.
Listen, if they start hobnobbing all around together, that's me out. That'd be me out. Honest to God, the trouble that those two have caused, not only in the echelons of society, but across society generally, all across the world, every day of the blimmin' week for the last 5 years, we're not... Their little acolytes, their little disciples, people associated with them, the trouble, hiding behind kids to get some wider point through about people critiquing her on the internet. Just annoying. Anyway, I've had enough, you've had enough, and it's baking hot. So I'm going to say goodbye. Wherever you are in the world, have a great time. Bye-bye now.